The cozy confines of Florida Sports Park in Naples. During our last visit, we witnessed Wayne Smozanik take exception to the phrase, "Don't fence me in." Today, another memorable tilt is in store. Coming up next, the Monsters will try to avoid a chain link TKO and go the distance. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the All-Stars of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Monster Truck Series. From Florida Sports Park near Naples, it's the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Suncoast Nationals. Hi, everybody, I'm Gary Lee. You may recall last year here, the walls came tumbling down. Well, in fact, it was the fence that came tumbling down. Our friend Wayne Smozanik from Jupiter, Florida, in Tropical Thunder, had one of the most spectacular crashes we have ever seen on Trucks and Tractor Power and wiped out a section of fence. One of the problems is the close proximity of this wall to that racing lane. Now, that is not the only potentially perilous characteristic of this racing facility. And here with more on that is my colleague, Army Armstrong.
Well, Gary, after the first round of competition, the drivers found out there's a couple of other obstacles that they have to worry about that normally they don't. First of all, you got to remember, I'm standing in the middle of the sippy hole of the World's Swamp Buggy Championship, and normally where I'm standing is under 4 feet of water. They have drained the water, but we're in South Florida, and even though you drain the water, you're going to have a mushy situation. I'm going to show you what I mean. Look at my foot here. It's all sandy. The drivers with a whole lot of horsepower are not going to be able to put that horsepower to use today because it'll just dig out. Something else. We're standing at the base of the second jump in the left lane. The drivers came out a moment ago and noticed that this jump is 6 inches narrower, 6 inches than the other jump. So the drivers are trying to figure out how to take this and make it to their advantage. The reason it's 6 inches narrower is that the car they used for the first car in this jump is just a smaller car. But the drivers immediately picked that out and they're trying to make it an advantage for them. Will it be an advantage or a disadvantage as we go through the show? We're going to be finding that out later. Back to you, Gary.
Army, a look now at some highlights from round one. The fast qualifier, Gene Patterson, the far lane in Bigfoot against Pam Botters in Bookie Van. Now, the last time these two met, Pam upset Gene, but Gene gets revenge this time and takes the victory with a 5:40 clocking.
Yeah, Gene knew that she was going to be a tough cookie on that start line. We're going to go to the crush cam to show you exactly what foot looks like. Whoa.
That gave me a headache and a twisted neck.
Thumped the cam, didn't it?
Wayne Smozanik, the far lane, Tropical Thunder. Fred Schaefer, the near side, in the Dodge Barefoot. And it's all Fred Schaefer.
You can see in no man's land, he was making so much horsepower, he's actually picking the sand up and throwing it. You can see that with the camera eye.
And now a look at Kirk Dabney and Brian Welch. Kirk Dabney, the far lane, Welch, the near lane.
Brian Welch and Dabney, both privateers. Welch starting to make a name for himself in this sport, representing Chevrolet. He made it a 5:61 time.
And now it's the Wildfoot truck, the far lane with Andy Brass, and no problem, the Ford of John Moore.
John Moore trying to use some of the off-road technology. He's just not able to tweak that truck to make it work for him, like Andy Brass, who did at a 5:20.
Good time for Brass at 5:20. And now we look at Rick Radler, the right side, Mark Hall in the left lane.
Ford on the right, Chevy on the left. Let the race speak for itself. Hear them winging that throttle when they're flying through the air, that wah, 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 wah. They're really working that throttle.
There's a look at Rick Rattler's 5:43 in the Ford Snakebite. Now it's Ken Deppy in the Dodge Express and Don Van Loo in Magnum Force. This is all action from round one, and Ken Deppy takes the big victory and advances to round two. His time 5:51 as he slides to a stop in the quagmire. It is a sunny day. We're coming back with a round two competition. Welcome back to Florida Sports Park in Naples, where Ford Trucks present the Penda four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Suncoast Nationals, a part of the B.F. Goodrich Performance Series. Gary Lee along with Army Armstrong. And as we take a look now at the round two matchups, Bigfoot against Barefoot, Wildfoot against Moving Violation, and the Snakebite Ford against the Dodge Express.
One of the things we're keeping an eye on is the Ford camp comes out with Andy Brass, proven driver, proven combination, the computer team. He's out of St. Louis, Missouri, representing, you know, the Wildfoot truck. But he's going up against Brian Welch. Who's this kid? The Moving Violation truck. He's a privateer that represents the Chevy camp. So you got the Ford Chevrolet battle, but you also got another battle. Corporate America against the privateer. That's just the way the card's laid on this.
They can be tough in all kinds of motorsports to go up against factory-back teams. And Wildfoot, the Ford of Andy Brass, takes the victory. Once again, the fast loser will advance, so we'll have to check the times of the losers.
5:36 for Brass. Now, we know that's going to pull him in, but what we can do is watch Welch. Now, let's see if that 5.53 is going to hold up. Interesting part of the track right here. The shutdown area presents some problems all its own.
Well, it's a quagmire down there, and these guys are sliding to a stop under braking. There's the margin of victory for Wildfoot, but then it becomes exciting when they start sliding in the shutdown area.
Yeah, the sand on the starting line, you can see the truck's really rooting the sand up.
Andy Brass, only the third fast qualifier this afternoon, and Army, you're down there with Andy right now. Let's go trackside to Andy Brass.
Andy, every time you go up against one of these new young guns, you know you got to have it on kill, don't you?
That's right. You know, the Ford Wildfoot's been running good for us today. We was over there watching Brian's times. He turned out some good times. He put some new parts on his truck. He went with the Linko in the truck, and it's been helping out a whole lot, you know. We just been holding together with the C6s. They've been doing us a good job. The John Kazi built Ford Hemi we're running now is putting out some horsepower. We're able to hook it to the ground thanks to the Firestones. So the truck's been working good for us, and it's doing good today.
And a good interview gets all the sponsors mentioned.
I was going to say, he must practice in front of a mirror to do that.
Fred Schaefer in Barefoot, the Dodge, and he will go up against Bigfoot, the Ford of Gene Patterson. Gene is the fast qualifier here this afternoon. Fifth best qualifier, Fred Schaefer. After round one, Army asked Fred about racing at this facility.
Army, one of the problems down here is we can't get hooked up on the line. Everybody's times are pretty close down here, but everybody's having problems getting hooked up on the sand. We put a little more air in the tires and try and get the tire on top of the sand so we can get going. That's about it.
In any kind of motorsport, you tweak the chassis, you make adjustments to the engine to adapt to the racing facility.
Yeah, you adjusted the track. The track doesn't adjust to you. Horsepower in the mid-range, pulled it out for the Dodge. Now the shutout fun.
Yeah, this is, once again, this is the mile of mud. This is where they run those swamp buggies here under a couple of feet of water.
Yeah, they actually drained 4 feet of water out of here. And they say there's an alligator out here somewhere. That's the reason I'm standing up on the board.
Well, this is Florida. There are plenty of alligators down here.
But this facility is amazing. The only one I know of in the country. They provide these people of South Florida with all types of motorsporting events. This week, monster trucks. They got the swamp buggy races. We do mud racing in here, so fun place to be.
Yeah, don't forget they run stock cars here as well, so a true multi-purpose facility. Well, now, Army, you have some thoughts on this next matchup featuring the snake fight with Rick Rattler and Dodge Express with Ken Deppy.
Gary, I don't care what anybody says. Corporate America is involved in this sport. Right now, we've got a situation where Dodge just beat a Ford. Barefoot just put Bigfoot out. On the starting line, we've got another scenario where Dodge Express is going after the snakebite truck. Another Dodge Ford scenario. You win on Sunday, you sell on Monday. That's the bottom line. Let's see who's going into this next round.
All right, will it be Dodge? Will it be Ford? And there is a look at Ken Deppy out of Jefferson City, Missouri in the Dodge Express. And he'll pull alongside Rick Rattler, Cobra Creek, Colorado, in snake fight.
You'll notice that Deppy comes into this thing, and he'll do the dry hop to that Dodge, the vehicle closest to us. They find out that makes that truck leave the line a little bit harder. The dry hop, in other words, false starting before the race so they can get everything ready to go. Meanwhile, the Colorado Ford, he just went to the line and waited. What a race.
Oh, who was it?
Looked like
who was it?
Looked like a P-51 Mustang nosing over at that finish line. I believe the Dodge with a 5.33 will make it an all-Dodge final. Let's wait and see.
5.33 for Deppy as we wait for the snake fight. 5.36 indeed. Deppy will advance. So it looks like Bigfoot is the fast loser. He will come back to comprise our 4-truck field for the semis with Barefoot, Bigfoot, Wildfoot, and the Dodge Express. And there is the margin of victory, just that close for Ken Deppy. And talk about the battle in corporate America in the semifinals. 2 Fords and 2 Dodges, and Ken Deppy is happy, and he is with Army.
Boy, it just keeps coming back to you.
Army, I'll tell you, it's been one of those days you just got to fight it sometimes. We broke a shock qualifying and came back. I broke both my snubbers off. We got it fixed again. They just told me that I beat snakebite. I was glad of that. Snakebite and I have been running real close all year.
You were not aware that you were the winner on that race?
Not until I just pulled back in the pits and crew gave me the thumbs up.
It's on to the semifinals for Ken Deppy. A big thumbs up, and we're coming back with more action from Florida Sports Park.
2 broken snubbers. That's got to hurt.
Welcome back to Florida Sports Park in Naples, where Ford Trucks present the Penda 4-Wheel and Off-Road Jamboree Suncoast Nationals, a part of the B.F. Goodrich Performance Series. These jamborees offer a host of activities for the truck lover as well as the entire family. And when they roll out this big tire, it means it's time for the tough truck competition.
This competition has really turned into a fun thing. What do? You take street trucks, you go out, you set up an obstacle course, and then guys and gals do weird things when they get in front of a crowd.
Hey,
like they get hung up on that big tire we're talking about.
Yeah, this tire can present a problem if you hit it like a sissy, and he just didn't hit that thing at all with that Chevy pickup
You
truck.
go tell him he's a sissy. I'm going to stand over here. Remember, I still remember the alligators are out there.
He lets me drive his pickup truck. I will not hit that tire like a sissy, as long as I'm in his vehicle.
Okay, that was by the way, that was a woman driving that, Gary.
Oh, her
now
vehicle.
The Fords come out. Let's see what they're going to do in the obstacle course. I like the windshield wiper. It gives it a nice touch. Balloon on the back. That could be the nitrous bottle, the hidden nitrous bottle. Again, this is all for grins and giggles. It's a new part of the jamborees, and it's becoming very, very popular. It was meant to just be for fun, but man, let me tell you, these people get blood in their eyes when they hit that big old tire.
Now that's the way you hit it.
I know it. I knew that.
That's the way you smack that tire. That's the way you drive it.
Guys with driver education T-truck. Little loose front suspension here.
Wash the truck off.
That's right. It's bang. Practice parallel parking it. Turn the other left.
If this is not the quickest time around the obstacle course, this truck could be the
pieces off here. Back to the tire. Wacko. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I like your sound effects. The crowd loves this competition. This guy is going to go back to the manufacturer's Midway and buy himself a new grill. Oh, the windshield wipers are working. And we're working our way to the semifinals as we take a look now at the pairings. Barefoot goes against the fast loser, which is Bigfoot. Then it's Wildfoot against the Dodge Express. A pair of Fords and a pair of Dodges. This should be very entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining is one way to look at it, but awards another way. The dry hop procedure starts. You know, what can you say? Ford wants to sell trucks. Dodge wants to sell trucks. Ford's in this sport for the exposure to sell. Dodge, they're here for the same reason. This is about a corporate battle as you're going to get. You can talk NASCAR and all this stuff, but I tell you what, Ford and Dodge realize they get some exposure from these monster trucks, and they're capitalizing on it.
We are focusing on the drivers, but it's a crew team effort.
Oh, sure.
Dialing these trucks into work, a very unique racing facility here.
You're exactly right. The facility, but keep in mind, the facility is the same. You adjust to the track. The track does not adjust to you. This one, it's an old cliche, is going to be worth the price of admission the next 2 races.
Side by side over the last set of cars. Who was it?
I don't know, but watch them shut down.
Well, that was almost a photo finish. Gene Patterson, a 5:23 for Patterson. We'll go by the time now. A 5:23, 5:16. So Fred Schaefer and the Barefoot Dodge will advance. This is really a track to test your self-discipline. They cannot use all their horsepower. They cannot get it down.
No, it's a finesse track. It's kind of like a bull moose with ballet in mind.
And the curtain just fell on Bigfoot. A bull moose and ballet slippers.
Those folks out there understand exactly what I'm talking about, right, folks? Meanwhile, the Dodge is set for the final.
Dodge takes the victory over the Ford as we take a look at the undercarriage of Bigfoot. And we go down now to Victory Lane to visit with our winner, Fred Schaefer.
Fred, I keep talking about corporate America's watching this sport. You had to make the Dodge guys awfully happy there.
Yeah, I did, Army. The Dodge is running real good. New Ram, got a lot of compliments on it. We're real happy with the performance, and for the heat today, I think we're doing real good.
Well, now as we take a look at the Dodge Express with Ken Deppy and Wildfoot with Andy Brass. And the winner here will go on to face Fred Schaefer for the championship here in Naples.
You talk about pressure. Andy Brass has got a pocket load of pressure right now because we know one Dodge is going to be in the final. We've been talking to you all day long about the corporate involvement, how Dodge doesn't want Ford to beat them, Ford doesn't want Dodge to beat them. Well, Dodge has half the field covered. Now, Andy Brass has all the pressure of the world on his shoulder because if we're going to get a Ford in the final, he's the only guy that can carry that blue and white flag of the blue oval bunch to the final. I don't think it bothers him a bit, though. This kid is cool. Half track looks good. Brass is out of shape. No, all Dodge final.
Who is it? Another photo finish. I couldn't tell from my vantage point, Army. 520 for Andy Brass.
I think we got an all-Dodge final.
520 for Ken Duffy. It's a dead heat. We'll have to run it again. Oh, how many times have we seen this?
Never.
Never.
Look at this. Both trucks settle down. Watch the nose on the trucks as they go over the finish line. Dodge is nose down. Ford is nose up.
But it's still a dead heat. A pair of 520s. We look again, and that means we'll have to run them again.
Boy, this is awesome. I guess that's what the ruling is in the sport. Meanwhile, Andy Brass getting a real good look at the crowd.
Well, they'll have to go back, check out those vehicles for any damage before they come back to the starting line, dry hop again, stage them, and race again. Now, let's go down trackside. Army, you have a report on some damage to the Dodge Express.
Gary, this is a situation down in the pit area. This is the shock that came off the Dodge Express on that previous run. A $1,500 Custer shock. The hydraulics on it messed up. It is no good. Junk. Throw it away. They had to go back to the pit area and get their backup shock. That's this one right here. The crew says they can change the shocks, but the problem is the time element. It takes about 15 minutes to change one of these Custer off-road shocks. They don't have 15 minutes. The word I'm getting is they're down to about 3 or 4 minutes before they get the call. Back to you, Gary.
So as the work continues on the Dodge Express, Andy Brass waits patiently in Wildfoot to see if he'll have a chance for a rematch of that dead heat with the Dodge Express. We'll step aside while this gets sorted out. We are back in Naples, and we're still trying to sort this situation out concerning the finalist. Let's go over to Army and see what he can help us with.
Gary, there's some confusion down in the pit area. We're going to try to sum it up for you real quick. Andy Brass will be going against the Barefoot Dodge in the final. This is what happened. The Barefoot Dodge won his race, automatically moving himself into the final. Andy Brass was not declared a winner because his heat with the Dodge Express was a dead heat. But the Dodge Express broke, could not make the time call. They allow you so much time to get your vehicle fixed. When he broke, he could not make the call. So what that does, it rolls Andy into the final. Andy Brass with Ford, Fred Schaefer for Dodge. This is final time. This is what this sport is all about. Gary?
Bigfoot, Barefoot. There's a look at Fred Schaefer, and there's a look at Andy Brass.
I don't know what to tell you about this one. Andy Brass, look for a rocket ride off the start line. Both these guys are going to go down through here like they're sitting on the nose cone of a heat-seeking missile. I guarantee you, you're going to see...
Well, you're going to see two pros of the sport right here. You're going to see a clinic and how it's done on a very tacky track.
And we keep bouncing back to this corporate involvement. Well, it doesn't get any more pressure on either driver now. Andy Brass doesn't have all the pressure. He's there. Now the pressure levels out. We got a level playing field, but we got a real sandy racetrack, and we're looking for one green light to tell us who's going to win it.
Wheel stand down no man's land for Andy Brass, and it looks like Fred Schaefer has
I believe he did. I think the Dodge took the win. A 5.33 for Schaefer could be the magic number.
Now remember, Brass was quicker the last time at 5.20. He turns a 5.36, so it is Fred Schaefer in Barefoot. The fans seem to appreciate the outcome of this event this afternoon. One more look. Look at the margin of victory.
Exactly, but what's the attitude of the trucks at the finish line? The Dodge nose down, the Ford nose up. That's the way they set these trucks up. The Dodges are set up to dive at the finish line. You watch this.
Boom. Well, let's go down to victory lane and talk to Fred Schaefer.
Well, Fred, congratulations to you. Man, this sport is just going and growing, and you're taking these guys big time.
Thank you, Army. That's that Dodge advantage, and boy, it's really running good this weekend. It's a nice place to be in Florida, and it's a good weekend for Dodge.
Let's talk about the run itself. Andy Brass, a little bit of controversy before the run. You know, this could have broken a lot of trains of thoughts for you or Andy, but both of you seem to stay like old gunfighters. You stay calm, cool, and let the trucks win the race.
That's right, Army. I guess it's being a racer as long as I have, and I just stay calm in there, having trouble with the lights and the trouble that we have. That's part of racing. Just keep a good, cool head and do everything right in the seat, and that's where it all comes out at the end.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
And I add my congratulations to the barefoot driver Fred Schaefer on his victory here in Naples, Florida. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now here's word of an exciting new video offer from Diamond P Sports.
Bring the excitement of monster truck and mud racing to your living room with the addition of Diamond P's latest home video. Believe me, folks, third time's a charm. Shake, battle, and roll number 3. It's all new and all you come to expect, from the outrageous mishaps of the monster truck racing to the raucous rampage through the mud bogs. Shake, battle, and roll 3 is a must for any and every monster truck fan in the house. Over 60 minutes of jarring and pounding, mud and mayhem, and accelerated aerobatics you don't want to miss. To get your copy of Shake, Battle, and Roll 3, call 1-800-438-8585 or send $19.95 check or money order plus $4 shipping and handling to the address shown on your screen, or charge it on your MasterCard, Visa, or Discovery card. Call 1-800-438-8585 for Shake, Battle, and Roll 3.